Hi everyone, welcome to our podcast, Best Possible Me, where we look at relationship dilemmas, try to open different viewpoints and perspectives in hope that if everyone does this, we all become the best possible me. I'm Cindy.
And I'm Ayala.
Welcome back to our podcast. Today is episode 25. And today the story we have is titled, Am I Wrong for Pointing Out to My Ex that this is what she wanted?
Okay.
Interesting.
So what's that about?
Okay, yeah. Today is a very interesting one. I think I will dive into it. My ex, Sandra, female 47, and I, male 48, divorced 7 years ago, amicably. She's the one who proposed we didn't make the kids switch back and forth for the time being. We'd each spend 2 weeks at the house and switch on and off. She said we'd do this until one of us moved on and get remarried, as obviously that wouldn't be a realistic setup. I agreed and we put it in writing, including that this custody arrangement would only last until one of us got married. We also split rent on an apartment that the other lives in during their off time. All bills have been split evenly between both. Per the agreement, when this ended, we will sell the house and split the profits as it's in both our names. Our kids were 6 and 8 when this began. They are now 14 and 16. I have been with my now fiancé for 3 years. We started living together at her place 2 years ago. My ex also started living with her boyfriend, so we gave up the apartment and would still switch off living in the house during our custody time, while our partners didn't live at the main house full-time. They have gotten to know our kids and everyone gets along. The kids love my fiancé and are excited for the wedding. My ex was happy for us until I spoke to her about putting the house on the market. Suddenly, she got weirded out and said she didn't want to change the arrangement. It was easier for her and it's nice to have a break from her boyfriend every 2 weeks. I said I get that, but my fiancé and I are getting a new place that's for both ours. The kids are okay with this and are fine with having to switch houses at this point. I offered to my ex that she can buy me out, but she can't afford to do that. She kept saying this isn't fair and she didn't expect I'd ever move on. I asked what if she married her boyfriend. She said she has no plan of remarrying and thought I wouldn't want to either. I just said, well, I am. We have started the process of selling the house and she kept trying to get the kids against this idea. But the kids honestly don't care. They've loved getting to house hunt with me and my fiancé. My eldest wants to help my fiancé decorate as they are close. The kids are also excited to spend more time with my ex-boyfriend as they will be living with him and their mom. He's a very nice guy and they like him. Recently, we got an offer on the house and my ex was very emotional, which I understand. This was a home that we purchased together and raised our children in. I have sentiments as well about letting it go. But when we're discussing it, she told me it was all my fault that she had to sell the children's childhood home. I told her that she's the one who came up with this idea 7 years ago. And she's the one who put in a clause that we'd get rid of the house when one of us remarried. It's not my fault that she had some unspoken, unrealistic expectation. They set her off even further and she started sobbing, telling me I'm a jerk for throwing this back in her face. So, was I wrong for pointing this out? We have amicably co-parented for 7 years and I'd hate to see that end over something like this.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. A bit of a long story, but there's lots of details there.
Yes. Firstly, I have to say, good on this couple to finally realize that the fact that they're divorcing doesn't mean that the kids have to pay the price.
Yes, especially when they're young.
Yes.
6 and 8.
So the fact that they got to this amicably agreement where they're the ones that move in and out and the kids constantly
Stay
live in the house.
in the same house, same routine, same environment, same
yes.
school. Yeah.
That is beautiful, and I hope more couples are able to, when they divorce, get to a similar arrangement. Obviously, you need to be financially much stronger to be able to afford it, but actually, to the kids, it's much more fair.
Definitely. Kids get to stay in the same room, gets to have the same neighbors, have the same friends, go to the same school and everything. This is a beautiful setup.
Yes. So obviously that happened 7 years ago when the kids were 6 and 8, and now they're 14 and 16. And at 14 and 16, the kids are much more able to independently even move from one place to another, and they probably sometimes do sleepovers anyway, and things like that.
Yeah, they quickly adapt.
Yeah, and by this age also, they have a lot of friends that their parents have split up, and probably their friends do a week here, a week there, or whatever. So they know how the other way of living in divorced families looks like, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. Now, obviously, Mom, Sandra, I think is her name. Yes. She didn't expect this to end, and she really liked the idea. What's interesting is that she said that she's happy to have a break from her boyfriend every 2 weeks, which that was really interesting how she worded that. So is this boyfriend obviously just a nice to have, but not really that full-on relationship, just like he has with his almost, fiancé, almost partner, although she is living with him, with the boyfriend. So I don't know. So something there is I'm not really sure what's happening, but it does seem strange or interesting. Let's put it that way. Not strange. Strange is judgmental, and I'm not judging.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm curious more than anything else.
Yeah.
So obviously she doesn't want the arrangement to end. But the fact that the house is on the market means that she did sign the paperwork, because you can't start selling a house without both parties signing with the realtor to try and start selling it. But she's putting in a lot of blocks, emotional blocks mainly, and he's afraid that if he does go on with it, this co-parenting that went on really well for 7 years might even be affected.
Right. Okay. And we can see that happening because the mother is very emotional. Somewhere in the story, I think the father wrote that she keeps trying to get the kids against this idea, but somehow that didn't work. What we don't want to see is in separated parents that one parent had a different agenda and they utilizing the kids to be against that, to push their own agenda. That's but then again, this is his point of view. It could be that she didn't necessarily push it. We don't know. Yes,
that she pushed it.
Right.
Maybe she just asked the kids, "Are you sure you're okay with this? Do you actually understand what that means?" Blah blah blah. And
to him, that seems like putting the kids against the I see your point.
We don't really know.
Yeah, we're reading from his side. Yeah.
And it's not that I don't believe him. It's just this is an interpretation of what the kids told him or what he sees or
what he thinks is happening. Yeah.
So we can't be sure is what I'm saying. Well, we can't be sure when we even ask people directly because sometimes they lie. But let's hope. Yes.
True. Yeah.
But let's hope that everything here is truthful and just a matter of opinions and viewpoints.
Right. Okay. It's interesting. The father in the story pointed out, this is what you wanted. His question was I wrong for pointing this out? What do you think was happening 7 years ago when they separated? One of the clauses, if one of us get remarried, we can sell the house. Before that, we don't sell the house.
Yeah. Look, I think that was a really good way of letting them have an out at the time. So when they...
So I think it was fair for both of them at the time.
Yeah, because when you get divorced, you don't know what the future will bring.
Of course, yeah.
For either of you. And having an option of a clause to go back on it is smart. Maybe the clause would have been even smarter if it was if we both agree.
If we both agree, yeah.
Yes, rather than if one of us gets married, which is, a full statement and that's what we're doing, because obviously now she's regretting it.
Yes. Could it be at the time she might imagine herself getting remarried or envisioning herself meeting someone down the track, and that could be happening for her? She wouldn't think that would happen for him, but now it's happening for him. She feels
jealous
I don't know. I'm not, obviously we don't know what her side of the story is, but I'm just see that it's interesting in the beginning of the story that she was the one to add this clause in their house, in the agreement.
Saying that it could be that she got advice.
Could
to
be.
Put a clause of, changing the agreement if something like marriage will occur.
Right.
And again, we don't know.
Yeah. Could be her lawyer's advice, could be her friend's advice, could be some of her friends went through similar thing. This would be a smart move.
Yep.
We don't know.
And it could be that she thought he would never get married.
Yes.
He kind of mentioned now, so 7 years
later
that she thought you'd never get married, and she also thought he wouldn't get married.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Uh-huh.
But then again, we're talking 7 years later, people change, dynamics change, priorities change, so we don't really know. Was it wrong that he pointed it out? I don't think it was wrong. The question is how he pointed it out. Was it accusatory?
Yes.
Or was it curious, like, hey, weren't you the one that
suggested this?
Suggested this? I mean, what's changed? I do think that because it's amicably and it has been for so long, really chatting about it in a curious way rather than in an accusatory way and an emotional way would be the best way to go about it. And I know that he has a wish, a hope that the house will be sold because of the fiancé, that actually they from what I understand here, they wanted them to have a house together.
Right. Yeah. So for financial point of view, it makes sense for him to sell the place, have the profit. Yeah.
Yeah. So he has an interest here, obviously. It's not just that he's fulfilling what the decision was 7 years ago, but because it was amicable until now, continue having those calls, those conversations.
Yes.
Continue to try and understand each other's point of view and where things are coming from.
Definitely. Okay. And we have different side of perspectives to this story, actually. Would you like to read, Ayala?
So Sandra's point of view. 7 years ago, my ex and I got into an amicable divorce agreement and have parented our kids very well since. We divorced because I found marriage suffocating. However, I found that since our divorce, and especially with our agreement of having 2 weeks with the kids and 2 weeks away from them, it was especially good. It allowed me my freedom, independence, and ability to be half away and half involved all the time. I have to say that this is also working wonders on my love life, as when I am with my kids, I'm not with my boyfriend, although he does visit us at times. And when I'm back with him, I am much happier and I feel I actually missed him without feeling that it is ever too much. My problem is that my ex now wants to sell the house that the kids live in, which means that I will have to move in full time with my boyfriend. I don't want this. I also can't afford to pay rent on a house large enough to accommodate my kids every 2 weeks on my own. It will also raise difficult questions between my boyfriend and myself about why I can't live together full time, as until now the kids were a logical excuse. And thirdly, but most importantly, I know that the kids said that they don't mind moving between houses. However, I actually think that that's because it's a novelty, and after a few weeks they will hate it. The whole idea was that they have as much stability as possible.
Okay, and I like her third point that the kids said they don't mind it. Maybe they don't know full story what's that entail for them to not have, for them have to move between houses every 2 weeks. You don't know how close these two houses are, how far they are. And I like that she's thinking for the best interest of her children. The whole idea was that they have as much stability.
Yeah, and I do think that kids, yes, they are 14 and 16, but that doesn't mean that they fully understand the consequences of every decision they make. So I do see that point, and maybe that also gives us more of an explanation about why she pushed this subject with the kids, because maybe she actually wanted them to try and realize what this actually will mean for them, where Dad saw that as if she's trying to convince the kids against it, but actually he was trying to show them that it's not as romantic or such a novelty as they think it might be.
That they get to live in two houses.
Yeah. But you know, understanding that point means that we are giving her full credit to the fact that she wasn't trying to stir the kids against Dad or something.
Right. Okay. Yes, of course.
On the other hand, she's talking about her own need for freedom. So she finds that marriage was suffocating.
Yeah.
That's why probably she thought she'd never get married again.
Okay.
She's enjoying the fact that she's on-off as a mother and on-off as a girlfriend.
As a partner in a relationship, yes.
And that's okay. And some people are like that. And we need to respect that for some people, this is the best way to live. And good for her that she found this balance and found it as really a good balance for her. The fact that the house will be sold and now she will have a difficult conversation with her boyfriend, well, that's her problem, with all due respect.
Yes. She's the one in that relationship, and
she needs to explain her needs yes to her partner. And also the rent issue, I'm also questioning, because yes, I can see that it'll be hard for her to rent, but then she's going to get half of the money of the house that is going to be sold. So it's not so if you're looking at her regular income, then maybe it's too much to be able to rent a place that is a 3-bedroom. However, if you take into account that you have this extra money from the house, that you can use that as rent, and we're actually talking until the kids leave the home. So another maybe 10 years. If the youngest one is
14 and 16.
14.
Depends what they do. If they go interstate to universities and
It might
stuff,
be less.
they might, yeah.
But that's why I'm saying at the most probably 10 years that you'll need to rent. If you take into account how much money that will be, and you can build on the money that you're getting from the house, you know, it's something that I do think she can be able to afford if she just looks at things a bit differently. So
there's no answer here, really. Sandra didn't really ask a question. It was just
she was just explaining herself.
Explaining herself. Also, this is one of the possibilities we wrote to answer the father's question. So was I wrong for pointing this out? I think we covered it a little bit before as well. It's not necessarily wrong, but it's more what's the tone
Yes.
and what was the situation
of the
of
conversation.
the conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
But but again, I take my hat off to both of them for how they're both choosing to parent their kids. I think it's lovely. I think it's very considerate. And because they're so considerate of their kids and their kids' needs, I do believe that having an adult, honest conversation, the two of them, about Sandra's position and his position, they will also be able to continue to amicably be there for each other and support each other with their needs with this new arrangement.
Right. Okay. Well, I do hope they find a new agreement to make this work.
Yep. And I do hope that Sandra will be able to have a good conversation with her boyfriend who will get what she needs. And if not, maybe he's not the right person for her. But if Sandra realized that having a long distance, well, it's not a long distance, but an on-off type relationship is the best for her, then that's the kind of relationship she should pursue.
Yes, definitely. There's nothing wrong of wanting that if that's what comfortable and what works for you.
Yeah, not everyone has to have the 24 hours a day relationship type if that's not what makes you happy.
Yes, definitely. Okay, well, we had a great discussion. Thank you, Ayala.
Thank you, Cindy.
Well, don't forget to comment on your opinions or your viewpoints, or you can also email us if you have any dilemmas and any stories you would like us to read and discuss on this platform.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
If you also have a relationship dilemma that you are struggling with and you would like us to bring it up here anonymously, you can email us on bestpossibleme.podcast@gmail.com. You can also find the email address in our podcast bio. Don't forget to like and follow our podcast so you get the notification of each new episode. See you next week.